Hello Space Engineers and welcome back to Hephaestus Prime. Hope everybody's well today. I'm well. So let's sort of get straight into it. A little bit to do today. First off, before I sort of get into what we are going to do today, we'll just have a quick look at this blast door because I have done a couple of things to it. Now the first thing I did was put a button on the outside so I don't lock myself out again. And then I also put in this access tunnel that goes around the edge of it, and you can see it's on a sensor. That doesn't work when the doors are open, but when they are shut, and just put a little bit of audio in there as well, there's a sensor on the back of the door, so when the door gets into its closed position, that sensor is then in range for the doors, the access doors through the corridor. So we'll just wait for that shut. There we go. So awesome, that door. Now the sensors are in range for me to activate, and I can walk through the corridor around through the door. So that the middle block is actually in the blast door. That will just shut behind me as well. So that's cool. Right, before we get on with things, we'll go and have a quick look at the command control room for the engineering department. So I have done a little bit of work on this. So just 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, but now it's all sort of, I think it's actually come together and it's all finished, and yeah, really happy with how it's turned out. So here we go, a lot more fuller than you probably last saw it. So first of all, we've got our sort of planning table there, and we've got a projection up of one of the angry limes. Then along here we've got a few seats just to sort of sit down and have a bit of a view of the production facilities, which I might just take advantage of right now and give myself a little bit of a charge up. I'd be quite happy just sitting here all day and watching this sort of engineering thing happening. Well, there's not much happening at the moment, but that's a pretty awesome room. Anyway, the next table, we've got another planning table with a projection in it with the Centipede command unit. And then around here, we've got the chair, which control chair for the welders and stuff, which I think you saw last time. A few lockers and things, so just trying to sort of compartmentalize this big space a bit. And around just in here, we've got sort of a little officey type area and a little bit of storage there. Shame I couldn't sort of fit stuff in there. Just about every single block space is taken up. And then just some more transparent sort of screens with a few blueprints and things overlooking the engineering department, the automatic welders. So that's that really. Yeah, really happy with how that sort of come out. Yeah, so just before we get on with today's build, one last thing I want to show you, we'll just head back outside, is I've put an antenna into a permanent location. We'll just go through this corridor again. That is so cool. Out into the weather. Yeah, so this replaces the little small grid antenna that has been over there since I first got here, really. Yeah, this was one of the first things I put in. So yeah, this is good that this is a permanent one here, because I've actually decided what I'm going to do is, yeah, put in a whole communications type setup up on top of Mount Rutherford. So just the one antenna down here to link to that, and then the main communications complex will be up there. But back inside, miserable day outside. Today will be an inside day, and we are going to make somewhere to store all the bits of Centipede, which are just all lying around the place. I mean, most of them are all in this sort of one vehicle here, but so I'm going to put them in the side of the tunnel here. So I'm going to use that existing alcove there. That'll be the sort of storage modules and stuff. And then over here, I'm going to dig out a new alcove, and that will be for the drill heads, welder, and grinder. And then back at the other end will be another alcove, which will have the command module and, yeah, whatever future modules I happen to do. Now I'm going to dig out these alcoves using the fossorial, and I'm just going to put a bit of a floor in to raise it up a bit. That way I just get a bit more height. Because there will be overhead pistons. Now, I've been sort of dreading this part of the build actually, but also quite looking forward to it. I think it's just going to be one of those ones where I know what I want to do, and I'm pretty sure I know how I'm going to do it. I'm just not sure if it's actually going to work. So, yeah, But I really do want to make this happen and make it work, because the Centipede, yeah, it was alright when there was only a few modules, but now that there's more modules, it is becoming quite problematic to actually get the thing connected up and turned on and going. So I sort of want to automate that system. and that's going to involve quite a few timers and yeah, a whole lot of stuff. So my idea is that basically I'll come along with the module, I'll jump in the command module first, and I'll come along and point out the door, and as I come up alongside one of the sort of holders for a module, then that will come out and I'll just plug into it, and I'll set up some timers and stuff so that basically as soon as I make that connection, that module will disconnect from the overhead arm. It will turn on, the batteries will be on auto, and all the thrusters will be going and that sort of thing. And then when I come back in, then the arm will come out, and again, as soon as I make the connection, an automatic connection with the connector, then that will disconnect it from the rest of the Centipede, stow it away, turn everything off, and yeah, should all be good. That's the plan, but whether that's actually what happens, I'm not too sure. It's going to take a bit of fan dangling to get that to work, and it's going to be quite prolonged as well, because as soon as I figure out how to do it with like one arm, I'm going to have to do it several more, so yeah, it's going to be a long day. The fossorial batteries were dead as a dodo, so just had to do a little bit of a recharge on them. But I think we're away now. We've got a little bit of juice up our sleeve. So I put in, as I said before, the sort of platform here, temporary platform, just to raise it up. I'm just going with a ramp that I made with some hinges and plates because, yeah, the slope blocks, it did sort of struggle to get up. So hopefully it gets up this one just a little bit more shallower. And then, yeah, I'll just dig out these alcoves. Fingers crossed, get some speed up. Yeah, there we go. No worries. Okay. Now you can see I've already hand drilled into the rock and put in a bit of a floor to drive on, which I'm going to have to put a bit more floor in so I can do a 3-point turn. Well, 3-point turn, probably more like a 15-point turn. Yeah, it's one issue that the fossorial doesn't really turn that well on the, well, nothing really turns that well on the steel plating. So yeah, it even makes it to the point that it's hard to say whether it's any quicker than using a hand drill. Yeah, and I'm not collecting the stone using it, but well, I've got the machine there, so, and it does make the roof nice and even as well, so anyway, you've seen me dig out these things before, so I might just skip ahead and we'll start the build on the arms, on the connector arms, storage arms, housing arms. I don't know, I don't think of a name for the arms. Okie pokey, that's all done now. It was not that easy to sort of dig out. I did take a little while. Got this little back entrance here, so this will link all the different alcoves. And yeah, so those blocks in the front there, they're just sort of guides for me. They won't stay there. So I just need to sort of figure out where the pistons are going. I'm going to have to use 2 pistons to get all the way out into the tunnel away from the side of it. So in the unstowed position, they're going to come to about there somewhere, yeah, and they will connect into the top connectors on each of the Centipede modules, which, if you recall, I did sort of make the conscious effort to put a connector on top of each module in approximately the same place, so I did take a little bit of effort to do that, and yeah, that is for exactly this purpose, for housing the thing. So I'm just going to do one of these to start with and prove the concept. I'll probably start with the middle one since there is a connector and associated cargo container out the middle of the tunnel directly across from this one, so it makes sense to use this one. Now the other thing is I'm going to have a vertical piston as well. So I've been thinking about this a bit, and I don't think just having the thing hanging out on the end of pistons and then the module coming up and connecting to it's going to work. I think it's going to clang and have all sorts of chaos. So I think it's going to be best if to launch it I just send them out and place them on the floor, so the horizontal pistons will go out into the middle of the tunnel and then the vertical piston will drop it down onto the floor. They're all the same height, the modules, so there's no difference in height, so it can be pretty consistent with placing them on the ground. And then yeah, the arm can just retract back and out of the way and it'll be all set to go. So that's the plan, at least. Yeah, as for packing them back up, I'm probably just going to have to connect to the thing directly, to the arm directly, because I won't be able to place them exactly in the same spot or the right spot on the floor. So, that will have to, I have to have a think about how I'm going to do that, actually. Anywho, I shall continue with this conveyor connection. Alright, that's all plumbed in now. I'll just lift up this piston a little bit. That's not the piston. That's... Why do they call the piston heads LCD screens? Anywho, that will be it there. So I'll just lift this up a bit and then I can put the horizontal pistons on. That will be there, close enough. Yeah, so just going to put 2 on, which can just shoot out into the... Oh, I'm not having much luck with placing these things. Why are you not connecting? There we go. And that one there, yep. So yeah, that puts them in about the right place. That should be enough room to stow the modules. They're not really that long. I mean, they're small grid. Yeah. So just get these welded up. Then I will need to put a head on them. Now what I'm going to use is instead of a elbow conveyor part, I'm going to use a hinge, because then I can adapt the hinge and change it to small grid, and then I'll just have a small grid advanced rotor because they're quite a bit thinner, and I'll just have a small grid connector as well. So yeah, I'll just lift this up a bit so I get the right clearance, because I'll need to make sure it fits underneath. Because yeah, the room could be an issue. I mean, if I used the large grid, yeah, it'd be stronger. But yeah, by the time I put a advanced rotor on and a connector, it would be 2 blocks lower. So I'd have to make it quite a bit higher. Now, why I'm putting the rotor on is because I want it to spin. I want it to rotate the module. So when I come in to Fort Rutherford, I'll be pointing in one direction. But when I connect these up to leave Fort Rutherford, I want them pointed in the other direction, because that's one of the main reasons why I'm doing this is, as the Centipede sort of gets bigger, it ends up being harder to turn, especially in here. So yeah, that's sort of the plan. Just try and get this up to the ceiling. Maybe just a little bit more. Oh, too much. Okay, 8 meters will do. Alright, just get that back in place. Okay, so yeah, I'll put those bits on the front, and that should be enough room. You can see I've actually got a projection set up over there, so I can just sort of use that for sizing, just to make sure everything fits. It's a lot easier using that than the real thing. Right, just grab the components for this. So we need the hinge, we'll need a part, same with the rotor, we'll get the part separately. So I can do it for rotors and hinges, but I can't get that head separate for pistons, which really annoys me, because yeah, using the build planner I can start it, but I can never finish them. Anywho, yeah, so I'll change this head out. There we go. I do wonder, I mean, I'm only recent to space engineers, but I wonder how people really got on prior to hinges being a thing. I'd be lost without hinges, I really would. Okay, and finally just need to put the connector on. It's not very straight, is it? Oh. Cool, weld all that up. Oh, maybe I didn't get the parts for the connector. Oops. Alrighty, so that should be that. Cool, done. So we'll lock off the hinge, because I won't be using that. It's really just to change the angle and change from large grid to small grid, so we can lock that one off. And we'll set that. And yeah, the rotor. And just because of the OCD, I'll just straighten up this rotor a little bit. Too far. Too far. Close enough. Right, pistons. I'll need to name them, and we better push them out into the middle of the tunnel. See how far they go. Alright, so now they are named, and in such a way that I will hopefully not get them confused with other ones. So we'll just send them out. That's probably the speed that they'll go as well. I think that's a reasonable speed. And now I'll use this projection to sort of figure out where they have to drop to. And that means retracting the vertical piston. But that comes out a reasonable distance. Yeah, I'm happy with that. It's a shame there's no way I would have gone with a single one. But yeah. Now just get this the right height. And that seems to be right. And
critical.
Sort out that energy as well. I think what I'm going to do is I actually need to have a medical bay as well. So I might just do that in a minute. Assuming I've got enough components. Right, so yeah, I've actually just been thinking about doing this because I'm not going to do a full-on medical centre for some time, so I think I'll just chuck a medical bay in here for the time being. This parking area here, you can see I've just put the wreckage remnants of the 2.1 missile. Yeah, I've got a vehicle that's going to go in here, but that's a little bit further down the track, so I'll just temporarily use it for this. Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you about that vehicle when the time comes. Now I may have to get a little bit of silver for this. Oh no, it worked, it finished, it completed, so I must have had more medical components than what I thought. Okay, cool. Right, glug glug glug, all recharged, that's good, that makes it a bit quicker, because I was getting a bit bored sitting in various vehicles to charge up. Alright, so back to the piston arm. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll just name this while I'm here, because there is a couple of connectors around the place that haven't got names, which I have no idea where they are. Yeah, so anyway, we'll call that. And where's our piston? Because we'll just drop. Yeah, and once I get all this set up with timers and stuff, I'm gonna hide these on the list as well, so they don't show up all the time. So, right, we'll just tidy up these settings. A little bit more. Just move this projection over into the middle a bit more and. Sorry, I'm mumbling, just concentrating, getting this right. There we go, and now I can line it up properly. Then, I'm going to have to put timers in. Now there's going to be lots of timers. Yeah, it's going to be like the bloomin' welder pit all over again. Because I'm going to have like a timer to extend, and a timer to rotate, and a timer to drop. And then there's going to be the whole connection thing as well. So, yeah, it's going to take a while. And then going to have another set to house it all, to stow it all. Which, yeah, it's all because of the delays, because there's going to have to be slight delays on things. Yeah, so I'll go underneath and I'll set up a bit of a timer room or something. So that's but that's pretty good there. That's about the right height. So yeah, happy with that, because yeah, that's not quite on the ground, so yep, that'll be fine. And as I said before, all the modules are the same height, so I'll be able to replicate this. Okay, made a little bit of room for some timers under here, so grab some parts for those. Now I'm going to put, I don't know, 6 or however many fits in here really, because I'm going to use quite a few, I think. Now the command module also needs some timers, and I believe that has quite a few spares in there already, so that's good future planning. And same with the welder module, I'm pretty sure there's at least a couple of spare timers in there too. So yeah, well done me for thinking about that sort of stuff. Just about completed all these, and for the fun bit, going to have to program them. So I predict that that is going to take about plus or minus an eternity. Yeah. So I will get on to that, and we'll come back when it's all done and give it a bit of a test run, eh? My word, that took absolutely forever to program those up. But yeah, I think I'll be quicker when I do the other ones. But yeah, we'll get flying, and I just took the back end off this. I only need the front bit, so yeah, we'll just cruise over there. Now, I did indeed use quite a few timers. I had to put a couple of extra ones into the welder module, but it really was good having all those spare ones available already, so yeah. And I have programmed up both the launching and the stowing of the module, so that's why it took a little while. And I just need to lower this camera arm so I don't crash into that, because that'll collect. So yeah, fingers crossed I'll be able to stow it and unstow it first pop. Hopefully it sort of doesn't go wrong. And speaking of going wrong, I've just crashed into the angry lime. Yeah, I think I did some damage to it. Right, let me... it's not too bad. I'll just quickly fix that up. Stand by. Alright, so just lining this up with the arm, and I've got a timer which is on my toolbar that connects everything up. So the idea is that when I activate it, it will connect to the connector, disconnect the rear connector, turn off the merge block, shut everything down all in the one hit. And that has not worked. Oh gosh. Okay. Right, I'm gonna have to change my plan a bit and reprogram some of these blocks. Okay, time for another attempt. I've repaired the Centipede command module. It was mainly cosmetic. Yeah, a couple of bits I had to replace. I've gone through all these timers, so there are some launch timers, some docking timers, and some delay type timers. The other thing I've done is I've turned up the strength on the connectors, both that and on the top of the Centipede. So they are now strong enough to actually hold it there. So I can disconnect and it can just sort of hover there for a while. And that sensor there is when I'm coming in to dock it and it's empty, then that will be active. And if I just fly over the top with the ship, it will pop out automatically, which means I don't have to get out of the Centipede to sort it, which is good. I can just sort of come in the front door and hopefully it's all there happening automatically. Right, so fire all this up, and fingers and toes and anything else I've got crossed. So once I line this up, the connectors should just sort of magnetize together without connecting, and that should be strong enough. And then I've got a timer which releases the connection on the Centipede, the joining one, and also the merge block. And then a couple of seconds later, it will connect to the arm, and yeah, all the batteries will go into recharge and the thrusters turn off and all those sorts of things. So, oh, here we go. I'm just doing this sort of back to front. Alright, okay, there's the first bit, success. And we're free, awesome. Well, that went a lot better than last time. Fantastic. Awesome. Alright, so we'll just park this up and then we'll have a go at launching it. So all those timers are already set up, so hopefully it all works. And whoops, a bit crooked there. Just sort out those pistons. There we go. Right. Right, okay, so Yep, I think we're ready to go. It should all just work. Again, fingers and toes crossed. So far so good, although it's not spinning. So it's meant to spin about 90 degrees, and it's not 90 degrees, it spins for 15 seconds to get it to turn 90 degrees. But that's not spinning, and now it should be lowering. Okay, I think that button panel's set up with the wrong timer. Alright, take two with the right timer. Yeah, I did change them around a bit because I did sort of reprogram them all from scratch to make sure I didn't miss anything. So, fingers and toes crossed. Right, spinning this time. There we go. Okay, so should go out, and then after a few seconds, the vertical piston should kick in. So, because it needs to clear the bay. It's about 17 seconds, I think, for that. There we go. There we go, touchdown. And that should retract. Okay, it didn't retract. Alright, so I'll have to fix that. Just for now though, I might turn the connector off and retract the arm manually. Yeah. Alright, that arm retracting will take some further work, as it seems to be attached to a timer that is disconnected, so can't do it. Yeah. Anyway, we'll have a go at connecting up and just make sure that that works. Now, when the Centipede welder landed on the ground, a timer got set going which auto-repeats, that when the command module locks with it, then the timer on there activates and confirms the lock and turns the thrusters on. So, long story short, everything turns on automatically, so I don't have to worry about that. And that has connected, launched, and worked super fantastically well. That is such a relief. You don't know how much of a relief that is. Right, well, I will hook this up and stow it away properly and then get on with the rest of it, which we are way out of time to do that, so that will probably be a sped up thing. I don't know how much of it you'll see and how much of it will do off camera, but anyway, I will sign off now and leave you with the last 5 or so minutes to see what I get up to. And yeah, just thanks everybody for watching. Hope you did enjoy today. Interesting day, a little bit of a challenging one for me. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to sort of flow when it comes to watching it. But anyway, stay safe out there, everybody, and have a good one. We'll see you next time.